I wouldn't underestimate the importance of system monitoring. So early on in my career, like I said, I got a good foundation, but a vendor that I work with, and we actually both have this vendor. Hope you don't mind me calling them out as Sienna Tech. And when I worked at Applied Technology Solutions, we would have some servers where we would have some shared resources on. And one thing that always stuck out for me in dealing with them is sometimes they would reach out and they're like, "Hey, you got an issue in your database or your server." And we had a ton of monitoring set up. I mean, we were monitoring everything, every service that was of importance, CPU, disk space, just everything. At least I thought. And every time that they called us, they were 100%. The first time I was like, "Nah, we're all right. We've got all this stuff monitored." And every time they called, like, it was legit. And that's something that really stuck out with me over the years. These guys are good, and everything that they had, honestly, everything they had was scripts. Like, they didn't have a system in place. It was all scripts that they had for monitoring. So don't think that you have to have tools, but you can set up scripts and do that stuff, if you got the know-how. But that's something that really just stuck out over the years is how great they were with monitoring, and when we evaluated them for an outage management system, that was one of the reasons that was always in the back of my head of how sharp and how on top of things these guys are, and that was one of our reasons for picking it. So I wouldn't underestimate system monitoring. If you know what's going on with your network before the end user calls you, they're gonna get the same feeling. They're gonna be impressed. They're like, "Wow, the IT department's on top of things. They knew before I even called them."
I would completely agree with that. And I would say the reason they can do that is because they really monitor the user interaction throughout the entire process. If you feel like you've got kind of the basics down, maybe automating kind of their restarts and reboots and things like that. But maybe if you've gotten past that, something that I would love for us to kind of gain in this area too is to actually monitor the entire process. If we've got an application, monitor performance, monitor particular steps through the application. Is this particular module working? Is this module not working? And I think that's what really impresses me. And I agree with you. They're very impressive. Impresses me about them is they kind of monitor the user experience. And because they do, they know right away and they know exactly the problem and the issue. And I think you would agree that because of that, it makes not only troubleshooting, but fixing the problem 10 times as fast as it would be.
Mm,
So the more you can have your monitoring kind of be your eyes and ears and your troubleshooting, if you can go past kind of whether something's up or down and actually get into like, is the database able to talk to each other? Is this particular service running? Is the data store slow and laggy? The more you can kind of paint that whole picture of the application, the easier it's going to be for you to fix the problem and the faster you're going to be able to do it. So if there's a takeaway from that that we can all learn and all get better in, I think it's that.